SpartanNash is rolling out its Simbi robot to more than 60 stores, Chris. According to Progressive Grocer, SpartanNash initially launched Simbi's tally robot at 15 of its stores in May of last year and will now deploy the robots at 60 additional stores throughout SpartanNash's Midwest footprint. SpartanNash is leveraging Simbi's store intelligence platform, which offers real-time inventory insights across the store to inform product stocking, ordering, merchandising, and e-commerce fulfillment, allowing associates to ensure items are available for store guests with accurate location and price, and also freeing up their time for more customer-facing work. Chris, we talked about our Schnucks store tour video analysis with A&M, obviously hitting a nerve with people, and that, part of the reason I think why we picked this headline today. But what are your thoughts about SpartanNash's big move here with Simbi?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a prediction here, Ann, and predictions are oftentimes the most basest form of journalism, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna say that 2025, not 2024, but 2025 will be the year of the robot in grocery stores throughout the United States.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm putting it down. Mark it down now, everybody, because
Okay.
you look at this. You look at SpartanNash, Schnucks, Stop and Shop. They're all the early adopters, but the benefits and use cases are becoming so clear, and the rollouts are now, if you watch them closely like we do, are now broadening out into new phases or are already moving chain wide. So I think that means we're going to start to see people take a much harder look at robots here in the very near future. Because put simply, the computer vision, as we discussed with A&M on yesterday's show, it's the unlock. It's the unlock that adds so much value through your operation. And with wage rates going up, staffing getting harder and harder, the trade-offs already appear to be there for many of the grocers that have jumped on board, and they get the punchline to the joke. And that is important because they are understanding how to incorporate robots into their operation. Because I got another bold statement to make, Ann, which is if you've tried robots and haven't gotten the value from the experimentation with them, that is likely a function of getting in your own way, in my opinion.
Yes.
Or a function of your own very cumbersome internal processes. That's what's happening because the value is there. It's not a function of the robots themselves. So I hope the people that have tried them in the past go back and revisit them. And I think they will. And that's why I think 2025 is going to be a big year for robots in the aisles.
I love that, Chris. And look, I think that's the huge takeaway for the audience here. Like, just because you tried robots 3 years ago, or you tried ESLs 3 years ago, or you tried X technology 3 years ago, does not mean that it's one and done. Like, you have to keep on evaluating this technology. We talked about this at nauseum at NRF. Like, it's not one and done. You have to keep exploring how the technology's evolved, the roles that this robot can serve in the store. And I think, one of my biggest takeaways that after listening back to the Schnucks video was what John Clear said about the employees in the store. I'm going back to that part, which you mentioned earlier, Chris, is that, your best employees in the store are the ones that have to do this work that the robot is now able to take over, or that ESLs are now able to take over. You can't just put a brand new associate on some of these tasks and have them done as well as the robots are able to do them. And so I think that it's really important that we focus on how we can ensure that your limited staff, especially the best, hardest working staff that you have in stores, are being assigned to the best, most customer facing, most impactful work in your store. And the ways to do that are by supplementing their day-to-day with robotics, with technology in store that can help them be the best at their job. And now my biggest question is, we have a lot of regionals testing these. Who's going to be the first to roll these out? I did that on purpose, to roll out the robots. Who's going to be the first big chain to roll out robots that we'll see in the US?
Yeah, do we see nationwide? I want to extend this argument a little bit too, Ann, because the ESL thing is really interesting. You brought it up too, because you talked about experimentation. Like, the biggest eye opener for me in the discussion we had about Schnucks, and this was complemented in my discussion with Dave Steck yesterday, which is important, I think, for everyone to hear, is that you can test things in the wrong place too. You can get false negatives. So like with ESLs particularly, the biggest thing I took away from that was when John said, they are really important when you look at your commodities, your traffic driving categories, your milk, your eggs. And Dave said that too. He's like, Chris, people talk about raising prices for inflation, But
Yeah.
deflation is actually more important. Being able to lower your prices quickly so you don't lose the loyalty of your customer when they realize that they're lower somewhere else and shop there instead. So for
Yes.
those that are interested in testing ESLs, I would be very thoughtful about what categories you test them in and make sure they're giving you the information you need to get the correct positive or negative results from your experimentation. So that's the last thing I would say.
Yeah, I love that, Chris. And what so much passionate conversation today around retail. I mean, this
I
was
know.
every
It's kind of
category
it's kind of what
was,
we do, Ann. It's
I
kind of
guess
our
so.
signature.